What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. The LOX is back. Well, it's hard to say that they're back because they put out projects in the last few years. They did 3 EPs back in 2014, and realistically, they've never stopped working together. You get a Jadakiss album, a Styles P album, a Sheek Louch album, and they're always sort of there. So it's like the LOX has never really left. It's not like they're reuniting for the first time. However, Filthy America, It's Beautiful is their first official album in 16 years since We Are the Streets in 2000. That's a long time. Not to mention that they have the Rock Nation deal, so here we are with this album. For the most part, Filthy America, It's Beautiful gives you exactly what you expect out of the trio. You get some hard-hitting lines, you get production that does fit them. I wouldn't say that a lot of the production stands out, but there are a few records on here that make you go, this is crazy. Like there's some production from Dame Grease and DJ Premier. So you have those producers helping along the way. And then you have a few experiments on the album that just don't work well. And I'll talk about those more in a moment. I could cut this down from a 12-track album down to 6 or 7 at most, in my opinion. Now let's get into some of my favorite songs. The first one is What Else You Need to Know. These 3 are going off on this record. Really, what else do you need to know? Styles P is reflecting on past beef. He's talking about the time that he threw a chair at Puff Daddy. It's hilarious. And, reflecting on some beef with Benzino, which is kind of weird because the last thing that I would want to hear from Styles P, Jadakiss, or Sheek on this album is something in reference to Benzino. The incident happened so long ago. It's not even, a lot of people in this generation probably don't even know about what happened between them. So it's kind of like, why are you talking about them? Nonetheless, Styles P had a really good verse on there. I also have to highlight Sheek Louch because he's always been looked at as sort of like the third wheel in the LOX. He's never anybody's favorite. It's always a tie between Jadakiss and Styles P. But on this album, he really steps it up to where I consider him an equal. The next record I wanted to highlight is titled Move Forward. One word. Primo. I really don't think I have to say anything else, but I will because this record is one of the hardest. With DJ Premier, you know what you're getting in terms of a sound. You're gonna have the hook with the scratches. You're gonna have something hard hitting, and I think this is where the LOX really shines. This production is right up their alley. It makes me want a LOX and DJ Premier album if that were to be a possibility in the future. The last song I wanted to highlight is titled Hard Life. It features Mobb Deep. If this record had came out in the 90s, it would have been huge. Can you imagine 2 of the biggest groups from the 90s collaborating at the time? Luckily, they haven't really fallen off. As far as like music-wise, Mobb Deep and the LOX are both killing it. They both can still spit. They just don't. They've aged, but they haven't lost their step, if that makes sense. So, luckily for that, this collaboration still sounds as good as it could have in the 90s. Now let's get to the bad songs. The first one is Stupid Questions. Technically, I'm cheating because this right here is a skit. But I've never been a big fan of skits on albums. They're like rare in if they're going to connect with me. So the whole skit for Stupid Questions revolves around the trio answering questions from a bunch of poor excuses for journalists who are trying to ask gossipy questions to get controversial answers. You listen to it once and then it's like, okay, I really don't need to listen to this ever again. It's one of the things where a skit is just hard to pull off on an album, I think. In my opinion, at least. I know there's some people that really like skits, but I personally can't get into a lot of them. There's some good ones out there, but for the most part, I'm just more inclined to enjoy the music. So skits, they can kind of just be cut. The next bad record is The Agreement, featuring Fetty Wap and Dice Payne. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't want to see the LOX featuring Fetty Wap ever. That just doesn't sound like a combination that makes sense. It's a wonder, like, who actually pitched this idea? I can't imagine Styles P, Jadakiss, or even Sheik saying, you know who we need on this record? We need to work with Fetty Wap. On top of that, this isn't even a good Fetty Wap hook. He sounds like he's dying, or he just got into the booth right after watching something sad like Topanga breaking up with Corey. It's one of those baffling moments where I'm just like, why is this here? No, this is just a bad record overall. Oh, and if you needed any more reassurance about this being a bad record, Styles P says, tell your girl jerk us off, only way to beat us. No. The last bad record on the album that I wanted to highlight was Secure the Bag featuring Gucci Mane and Infrared. When I thought there couldn't be any song that was possibly worse than The Agreement, Secure the Bag comes in waving its arms like, hey, look at me, I am worse than The Agreement. DJ Khaled comes on in the intro, and he just drops his signature catchphrases. Here's a catchphrase, here's another, and then we get right into the bad song. So having DJ Khaled was like, a very random idea. Another thing that I'm like, okay, who actually pitched this to the LOX? Because I cannot see Jadakiss, Styles, or Sheik saying, hey, we need DJ Khaled on this. Now, I can't really be mad at the record because Secure the Bag isn't a bad song per se. It's a bad LOX song. If this were a Gucci record, because Gucci killed it, this would be pretty much acceptable. It would fit in on a Gucci project more than it would the LOX. With this new deal with Roc Nation, I feel like this is not the last LOX album we're going to get. In many ways, you could look at Filthy America, It's Beautiful as sort of shaking off the rust and figuring out what their audience wants. What do the people want out of the three? So they did that. They got some good records on here, but then they also tried to do some experimental stuff that just backfired. So if they or their circles look online, see all the feedback, and really tighten up on the next album, I feel like they can make something really good because it's clear that they haven't fallen off. They are doing their damn thing on the album. They just need to give fans what they want, what they expect, and cut out everything that just didn't work on this album. So those are my thoughts on the LOX's first album in 16 years titled Filthy America, It's Beautiful. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.